Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to a new video today. We're going to be doing a mixing and mastering video here just with FabFilter plugins. And the first thing I want to start off before we even get into our stem mixing, I am going to do audio stem mixing in a separate session. But before we get to that, I want to take a look at the main session, our main production session, and talk about how you should export your stems. Now, you want to export them one by one. There's going to be situations when you guys can group stuff. You know, if you really nailed the mix in here and you want to group maybe some hi-hats or something and bounce them together, or maybe bounce all your effects together, by all means, there's going to be, situations if you want to do that for CPU, maybe an engineer requests them specifically. So keep that in mind. For me, when I'm doing it, I'm going to do them one by one. I like having everything just as is. You know, as the session we have here, I like having my mix down audio session exactly the same, just in audio. But so what I do is usually solo them one by one, and I bounce them the exact same length. Sometimes people will, say this stem just ends here and never is going on here, for example. Sometimes people will just bounce from here to here. You can do that. It saves space. Totally up to you guys. That's not a huge, game changer, but I will tell you there's a lot of engineers, mixing engineers, that like everything the same exact length file wise. It just visually is better for them. So what I do is go one by one and I bounce these one by one. But for Logic users, you guys can just bounce them all by hitting export all tracks as audio files. For me, I like doing them one by one. It seems a bit more accurate. It takes more time, but it does grab things more accurately, buses and sends and stuff like that. It's a bit better for me. So what I like to do, the first thing you need to look at is your headroom going in your master channel. So I play every stem. I go through every stem and make sure it's staged low enough, which for me generally is between -10 to -12 on my mixer. I like having everything a bit lower. So I'll go to the drop and I open up the mixer and check everything out before I even bounce. So we know right here our drop aux is coming in really high. So I'm looking for anything else. These are all really low. These are low. My FX, that's good. My output to my master channel should be -10 to -8. Maybe -6 is a good spot, and no higher than that. So let's take all of these stems and bring these down. So these are all coming in a bit hot, so let's bring those down. We can stage those by selecting the audio, and I'm going to go to gain, and I'm going to hit -10. So now these are going to be very low. And then the keys is coming from a plugin, so I have to go into the plugin, and I physically have to turn the master down. I cannot stage that through audio because it's not printed yet. So we can see we're getting a lot of headroom now. We're staging everything low enough so when I get to the mixing stage, nothing is permanently damaged. I can't fix a bounce file that has no headroom, right? So we have to do that up front before we even get to our mixing. All the percussion looks fine. So now we look at our master channel. We just want to make sure we're getting that negative. I'm just going to go to the drop being the loudest part. I want to make sure I have headroom over here. So this is where I can bounce everything. It's pretty low. You guys, there's going to be different engineers that want it lower. Some want it at -6. I'm between -10 and -6. When I get my files like that, it's perfect. So now we can move on. Now, like I said, I would just copy paste the name. So Command C, and I literally would hit bounce, and I'd go to my audio now, and I would do a 24-bit 44.1 wave format. Some guys will want AIFF. You guys can communicate with your engineer if you're working with someone. They will have specific formats here. I want no dither. So everything is going to be like this. And again, no normalize, and I'm bouncing the full length. So now I'll just hit OK, and I can just go into my multi-stems and name it kick, and I'll just do BNC for bounce. And then I hit bounce, and it'll grab just the kick stem. And now I will repeat every single time, every stem right now to do the exact same format. So that's it for this one here. Now we're going to jump into the actual stem mixing, the main session, to start going on that.